Welcome back into the Timeout podcast on Touchdown Alabama's YouTube channel. As always, I'm joined by former Alabama wide receiver, national champion, one of the best trainers inside the state of Alabama. If you want your athlete to go from average to great, I'm sending the mic on McCoy for sure. And I'm so excited to start the Timeout podcast back again with the 2025 college football season in terms of week one, basically right upon us. Mike, how's it going and how excited are you to be back on?
Man, I'm glad to be back, man. I missed y'all guys, man. Y'all used to have to keep me on my P's and Q's, man. But, man, it's good to be back. I have no complaints. I'm excited. Football season is amongst us.
New quarterback and Simpson, a guy who has experience technically in terms of just being a college football quarterback. But now he finally has earned his opportunity, former 5-star. I think that doesn't probably get talked about enough because he waited so long. You kind of forget that he was at least projected to be a really good quarterback coming out of high school. And with you, similar going back to that second year in Tuscaloosa, you had to adjust to a new quarterback. So what can a wide receiver do? What were some of the things that you felt like you did or really wanted to put an emphasis on doing in terms of, let me make sure that my connection is right with this first year quarterback, just to make sure that make sure we're on the right page. We can consistently get better.
Well, mine was a little bit different because I came in with with G-Mac, Greg McElroy for the people listening. I came in with him. So that rapport was a little bit different. And there is something such as a thing where you have to have a relationship with your receivers. Can you work with somebody you don't like? Very much so. A lot of us and the people listening do it every day. You work with some people that you don't like. It doesn't slow down your job, but it makes things a lot easier when you like the person that is spreading the ball to you. The thing that I'm hoping in they're doing, and I'm sure that they are, man, timing is everything. Do I have a right-handed quarterback? Do I have a left-handed quarterback? Is he a mobile quarterback? Is he a dual threat? So a lot of these factors come in, and it just depends on the OC. You guys will always hear me say this. I don't care who you are. You can be Jerry Rice, Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones. Every last one of us are system players, and you have to be within the system to highlight your attributes. And I think right now with the OC that's coming in, I think Ty Simpson, his attributes will be highlighted. And honestly, I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. I'm hearing a little bit more hate than I am hearing positivity when it comes to his name, and I'm saying, yeah, he was a 5-star. He waited his turn. Yep. He got a lot to prove. If I'm him, he better be pissing vinegar right now. Like I'm woke up and I'm out for blood. I'm finna prove everybody wrong. For everybody who slept on me, I'm about to wake them up. And I think he's going to take that approach. I hope he takes that approach because you at Alabama, bro, your number 2 might be better than your starter. That's just the reality of it. You know what I'm saying? And he on your hips like some tight jeans. You know what I'm saying? So I hope he plays well. I'm expecting it. But the separating factor is, like you said, it's going to be time. It's going to be time and communication. That solves 95% of every issue on every team. As long as they're communicating and they have an understanding of how to run routes and understand the concepts and understand high to lows, man, it's a smooth transition. And with the weapons he has, all he got to do is drive the car. Just drive the car. I don't need you to be a superstar. Just drive the car. Manage the game. Be a great game manager. I don't need you to be Nazareth. Be a great game manager. You do that, the rest with the weapons that you got on the outside and that bowling ball you got back there running that rock, you're going to be all right. Don't do too much. Don't do too little. Just play with the game. Kawhi Leonard got it best. He said, slow is pro. And that's an analogy that these boys better understand. When you take your time, you understand what's going on. Because anytime that you rush, what tends to happen? Those where accidents happen. Slow is pro. When you run fast, you crash. You know what I'm saying? So if they understand these concepts, and again, these are pro players now. So there's no excuses anymore. We can't, those student athlete days are long gone. Fans, I hate to tell you, these guys are no longer amateurs. These are pros. So you can't do the job. I can't say I feel sorry for you now, my boy.
Yeah, for sure.
You making more than the average. You making more than the average citizen now. So hey, it is what it is. But long as they working on that timing, bro, it'll be a smooth transition. Long as he plays within his game, and like I always say, system players. If he plays within that system, bro, the boy gonna be in the Heisman talk. If he plays within the system.
Yeah, I think that's definitely. I definitely agree with multiple points that you made, and I think I probably made a mistake. I basically was trying to say your third year in Tuscaloosa when Greg came in and was your guys' quarterback. If that's how I'm shaked out. But yeah, going back to Ty Simpson, like you said, former 5-star quarterback, and he has some mobility for sure. It's kind of crazy and it's kind of interesting that it kind of have gotten forgotten about, but at like Westview High School, of course, he didn't play at this like big high school, but his highlights are kind of like Johnny Manziel-ish in terms of like the way he's able to run around the pocket and make these off-platform throws, which technically was a part of his game that he can't do at Alabama because he did like some wild, crazy stuff. Like he used to go turn backwards, run backwards, and run. You can't do that in the SEC because you're not going to be able to run away from these defensive linemen who are so athletic. Now, but if he can keep a little bit of that inside of his game, that ability to make these off-platform throws, ability to play a little bit, I really say more of a controlled chaos type of style. If you can do that, you could be really effective as a quarterback. And I think most quarterbacks are mobile in this particular day and age. But I've also said the same thing that you said earlier too, is that I don't feel he has to be elite. I don't feel he has to be good. I feel he has to be great. I don't think, like you said, I don't think he has to be great all the time. You just got to be great in certain moments. Of course, it's probably going to be a game where like, yo, I need you to make this throw. We need you to win this game for it. There's always going to become those times if you're going to be a quarterback for a great collegiate football program in today's day and age. But I think, in my opinion, I think he just has to be great at the times when he needs to be great. Like you said, basically keep the car inside of the road because you got all of these weapons. You got Ryan, you got Jeremy Bernard, you got Isaiah Horton, who could be just as ridiculous just based on what we're hearing. He could be crazy ridiculously good. So you got weapons just everywhere. Probably at the end of the day, probably your biggest question mark probably would be more so at tight end. Like how do those guys particularly look and would they fit into that offense? But just based on even Ryan Grubb, like you said, with that experience that he has and that ability to stack the stat sheet. So there's a lot to be excited about when it comes to Ty Simpson being the quarterback at Alabama, and it goes back to what you're saying too, if the timing and all of that is on pace, they really could help him out a lot for sure. Just really just early on in the season for sure. I think that's kind of like what you said, slow as pro. I think he really will have to lean on that like early on in the season, really take his time, know that, hey, I got a talented team around me. I don't have to go out and be amazing right off the bat. Let me get adjusted. Take some time.
And I'm gonna tell you this too. He really has an advantage. Did he red shirt? I'm not sure. Did he red shirt?
I want to say he did.
So if he red shirted, that means you were on scout team. And a lot of these kids and these parents don't understand. That's something that I wish I would have had. I would have been fortunate enough to redshirt. I came in and played immediately.
Yeah.
And when you get a chance to redshirt, you're going against the number one offense or the number one defense every day. So if I'm seeing that speed and I'm going against at least a top 5, always at least a top 10 defense, no matter what, coming from Alabama, what is that going to do for me when I get in the driver's seat? You know what I'm saying? That's just them live runs. You know what I'm saying? If we're going to go Navy SEAL base, this is Navy SEAL training. You know what I'm saying? Not to that extent, but I'm talking about on the field. So I think he's going to have a little bit more. I think he's going to be a dark horse. I think he's going to exceed everybody's expectations. I'm leaning on that. And again, because nowadays, anybody else in his position would have what? They would have left.
Yeah, for sure.
They would have left. These kids are not redshirting anymore. They don't understand the benefit behind it. They want microwave results. They want it right now. So the fact that he thugged it out and he waited his term, I don't think he's going to get out that driver's seat, bro. I think that's going to be hard to. I think he's a man with a plan right now.
Yeah, and then going back to the man with the plan, one of the just amazing things is that he enrolled already knowing that, hey, I'm probably not going to play.
That's hard to do, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. It wouldn't have been me.
Yeah, for sure. That's kind of like the thing that he did what kind of like I tell a lot of recruits. At least he had a path to play, but that's kind of like what I always tell recruits. I don't try to give them much recruiting advice, but I always tell them like, yo, have a path to play. Of course, you don't want to sign with a team that's signing 3 running backs and you're a running back already. And not saying I know you believe in your ability. I know you the best at your school. You're probably the best in your state, but yo, it's so many other factors that could affect you getting on the field. If it's just become a numbers game and there's so many other things. So you definitely want a path to the football field. And I think he had one. He really believed in it and say he really believed in himself as well. And say like, yo, I'm going to wait for my opportunity, which just speaks volumes to what he was able to do. But what you said was such a great take and great insight, because I think the average fan doesn't think about that when he was a red shirt, when he had the opportunity to go up against the ones. If I'm not mistaken, and you can correct me here, if you are probably the backup, you don't technically go up against the ones as the, I guess as the scout team, because you probably are preparing if in case the starter goes down. But if you're the red shirt guy, that opens the door for you to get more game like reps, or even like, I guess, mimic the other team's quarterback and try to basically get the defense ready for the upcoming Saturday. So yeah, that's very good insight in terms of like why Ty should be ready right now.
Because I'm gonna tell you what tends to happen is, man, what fans don't know, sometimes as a high schooler, you're coming in being that guy, you lose your identity because you want to fit into a system so bad. And the quickest way for you to get on the field may not be your particular style of play. You know what I'm saying? I was a spread the field guy. You know what I'm saying? I was a 4-4, 4-3. My fast forward was 4-3-7. You know what I'm saying? But I became a possession receiver because that's what I had to be in order to get on the field. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, man, it's just different situations. Like you said, sometimes if a kid may not be as good, but if he's a big fish at a smaller school, he gonna ball. Everybody can't play at Alabama, LSU, Ohio State, Florida. There, you saw Cam Newton told you straight up, I wasn't gonna play behind Tim Tebow. And who end up having the best career? You know what I'm saying? A better career. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about how good you are all the time. It's about timing. It's about systems. It's about operation. There's a lot of factors that goes into you being a successful player. If I'm a quarterback, I can be the best quarterback in the world, but if I don't have a decent offensive line, I'm not going to have success. You know what I'm saying? Prior to Randy Moss, Tom Brady didn't have much to work with. You know what I'm saying? Be honest. Now, in his later career and the Patriots, you know, them tight ends became some secret weapons, but they just, when they were looking at receivers, bro, they just didn't go out the first round draft picks, bro. It was a system that they had. And right now, I think the system that Bama has, the formula that they have, man, I can't say destined to win, but they should, man. If they drop, I'm gonna have this whole tone gonna change real fast.